Tycoon acts poor to test his family. But his wife's actions will bring tears to your eyes. The rain fell softly on the roof of Henry's big house as he stood by the tall window, thinking deeply. He was one of the richest men in the land, owning many businesses, cars, and houses. But even with all his money, Henry felt lonely in his own home. His wife, Clara, only smiled when there was money to spend. His daughter, Mia, spent her days showing off fancy things on the internet. His son, Ethan, was quiet and always stayed near him. One evening, Henry sat at the dinner table watching his family eat. Clara didn't even look at him. Mia was on her phone, laughing at something online. Only Ethan noticed him and asked, "Dad, are you okay?" Henry gave a small smile. "I'm fine, son." But inside, he wasn't. He was tired of fake smiles and being used for his money. He wanted to know if his family really loved him or if they only cared about the rich life. That night, after everyone went to bed, Henry called his helper, James. "James," he said on the phone, "I want you to move all my money to a secret account. Close the businesses for now. Tell everyone I'm taking a break. And don't let anyone know I'm still rich." James sounded confused. "Sir, are you sure? This will shock your family." "That's the idea," Henry said calmly. "I'm going to test them." The next morning, Henry called his family to the living room. Clara walked in with a frown. "Why are we here so early?" Henry took a deep breath. "I have bad news. I've lost everything. The business failed. The bank took our money. And we have nothing left." Clara jumped up. "What do you mean nothing? You're joking, right?" "I wish I was," Henry said sadly. "We have to leave this house today. I only have one place for us to go, my late father's small house in Pinewood Village." Mia screamed. "A village? No way. Mia, in a village?" Ethan quietly looked at his father. "Are you serious, Dad?" Henry nodded. "Yes, it's the only way." Clara yelled, "You useless man, how could you lose everything? What kind of man are you?" Henry didn't answer, he just turned and walked away. Ethan followed him. "Dad," he said softly, "don't worry, it'll be okay." Henry smiled at his son, a small tear in his eye. "Thank you, Ethan, that means a lot to me." By evening, they packed a few clothes into bags. The big house was quiet, no more maids, no more drivers. Henry drove the family in a small, old car James had gotten for this plan. The road to Pinewood Village was bumpy and dusty. Clara complained every minute. Mia refused to open her window. Ethan quietly enjoyed the wind, holding his father's hand from the backseat. After hours of driving, they reached a small yard with one house made of mud and a metal roof. Clara stepped out of the car, her mouth wide open. "What is this awful place? Henry, are we supposed to live here?" Mia opened the door slowly, covering her nose. "Ew, what's that smell? This place stinks." Henry stepped out and looked around calmly. "This house was my late father's, we'll make it work for now." "Make it work?" Clara shouted. Clara, in this dump? After years of living in big houses, you want to trap me here? You must be crazy." Mia shook her head. "I can't survive here, Daddy. No Wi-Fi, no AC, no bathroom mirror. How do people even live like this?" Only Ethan stayed quiet. He got out and helped his father carry the bags into the house. The front door squeaked as they opened it. The living room had just 2 plastic chairs and an old wooden table. Cobwebs hung in the corners, and the air smelled like dust and sweat. Clara refused to go inside. "Henry, take me back to the city right now. I'm not stepping into that mess." "We have no choice," Henry said. "This is all we have for now." Mia hissed loudly. "I should have stayed with my boyfriend." Ethan turned and looked at her. "We're all in this together, shouldn't we help Dad instead of complaining?" Clara glared at him. "Be quiet, do you always have to talk? We're all here suffering because of your father." Ethan shook his head in disbelief and kept helping his father set up the house. Henry smiled a little and patted Ethan on the back. Later that evening, Henry tried to boil water outside using firewood. He had forgotten how to start a fire, his hands shook, and smoke got in his eyes. Ethan came over and helped him arrange the sticks, blowing air to make the fire grow. "I used to watch the village kids do this during vacations," Ethan said softly. "I remember." Henry nodded. "Thank you, son, you're making this easier for me." Meanwhile, Clara sat on a rock, staring at her chipped nails. "This is a nightmare. No lotion. No TV. Not even a fan. God, I hate being poor." Mia was busy trying to get a phone signal, holding it up high and walking around the yard. "No Instagram. No Snapchat. No TikTok. Are we even in the same country?" That night, they all slept in one room on a small mattress on the floor. There was no electricity, just a lantern with a tiny flame. Mosquitoes buzzed loudly in the dark. Clara kept slapping her arms, muttering angrily. Mia tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Henry lay on the mat, staring at the ceiling. Ethan lay beside him, gently tapping his shoulder. "Dad," he whispered, "don't worry, I know this is hard, but we'll get through it." Those words warmed Henry's heart. He turned and looked at Ethan in the dim light. "Thank you, you're keeping me strong." For the first time in years, Henry felt a real connection, not with his wife or daughter, but with his son. The next morning, a rooster crowed loudly, waking everyone up. Clara shouted, "What kind of annoying bird is that? Why is it yelling in my ear?" Henry stood up and stretched. "It's morning, time to start our new life." Mia came outside looking terrible. Her wig was messy, and mosquito bites covered her arms. "I can't do this. I need to go back to the city. I feel sick." Henry ignored her and picked up a farming tool. "We need to start planting if we want to eat. We have to work." Clara burst out laughing. "Did I hear you say farm? You want me, Clara, to farm? Never." Mia crossed her arms. "Me, farm? I'd rather die." But Ethan took the tool from his father. "Let's go. Dad, I'll come with you." Henry smiled proudly, tears hiding in his eyes. "Let's go, son." As they walked to the field, Henry felt a pain in his heart, but he was glad at least one person stood by him. Meanwhile, Clara stayed behind, thinking of ways to escape this hard life. She saw a group of village women chatting under a big apple tree. Among them was a man in fancy traditional clothes with a gold necklace and a big belly. He looked rich. He was the village leader, Chief Bradley. Clara's eyes sparkled. That was the start of her sneaky plan. Life in Pinewood Village was nothing like Clara and Mia were used to. By the third day, everything felt like a punishment. The heat was too much. There was no fridge, no running water, and worst of all, no helpers to do the chores. Clara sat under an apple tree, fanning herself with a leaf fan, her eyes full of frustration. "This isn't living," she grumbled. "This is torture." Mia walked by, wearing mismatched sandals, carrying a bucket to get water. Her makeup was gone, and her once perfect hair was now rough and dry. "Mom," she whispered, "we need to do something. I can't handle this anymore, my skin's getting dark." Clara looked around and saw the man from the other day, the village chief, coming out of a nearby yard. He wore a shiny robe, gold chains, and dark sunglasses, with two young girls following him, carrying his bag and stick. "That must be the chief," Clara said to Mia, her eyes narrowing. "He looks rich." Mia turned and stared. "Is that how village chiefs look? Look at him shining." Clara stood up and fixed her dress. "I'm going to say hello." "Mom," Mia whispered, "what are you planning?" Clara smiled. "Sometimes when one door closes, a window opens. Let's see if this window has AC." She walked confidently toward the chief, swaying her hips and pretending to limp a little to seem weak. "Good morning, sir," she greeted, bowing slightly. Chief Bradley looked at her and grinned. Well, who's this? You're not from this village. I'm not, Clara said. We just moved here. My husband brought me and our kids after losing everything in the city. It's been so tough. Chief Bradley chuckled. A fine lady like you shouldn't suffer. Come sit with me for a bit. Clara sat beside him under a shaded spot. Thank you, Chief, you're so kind. He waved at one of the girls to bring her a drink. Soon, Clara was laughing and sipping a cold soda while Henry and Ethan worked hard in the hot sun, digging the tough ground with their hands. At the field, Henry looked up at the sun and wiped sweat from his face. This land is hard, but we have to keep going. Ethan nodded. We'll plant potatoes here, then corn over there. Smart boy, Henry said proudly. You're learning fast. They worked for hours before heading back. When they reached the yard, Clara was already there, smiling and humming, a strange sight. Where were you? Henry asked, surprised. Just walking around, Clara said quickly. I met some village women. They showed me where to get water and wash clothes. Henry raised an eyebrow. You washed clothes? Clara laughed nervously. Well, I tried. Ethan looked at her hands. They showed no signs of soap or water. And her dress smelled like perfume. Not smoke, but he stayed quiet. Later that evening, Mia sneaked out of the house and went to the only small cafe in the village. A group of men, young and old, sat outside, drinking juice and listening to music. She sat in a corner, crossed her legs, and scrolled through her phone even though there was no signal. A married man named Mr. Carter noticed her. He was in his late 40s. Chubby, and owned a small store in the market. He walked over and said, You're too pretty to be sitting alone. Mia smiled. I'm not from here. I can tell, he replied. What's a city girl like you doing here? My silly father brought us here to suffer, she said. He says he lost all his money. Mr. Carter smiled. I can make you comfortable. I can give you money. Even buy you little things to remind you of the city. Mia raised an eyebrow. Really? What's the catch? He laughed. No catch, just visit me sometimes, my wife doesn't need to know. Mia bit her lip, pretending to think. Okay, but you better keep your promise. Of course, he said, already putting his hand on her shoulder. And just like that, Mia started her secret life. Back at home, Henry sat outside with Ethan under the moonlight. Dad, Ethan said, do you think we'll ever go back to the city? Henry looked at the stars. Maybe, but not until I find out who really deserves it. Ethan didn't understand. What do you mean? Henry sighed deeply. You'll see soon. Every morning in the village felt like a struggle for Clara. There was no hot shower, no nice-smelling lotion, and no breakfast in bed. Instead, she had to wake up early, sweep the yard, fetch water, and eat plain bread with pepper soup, no meat. Clara grumbled loudly one morning as she tied her dress loosely. What kind of awful life is this? I'm done, Henry. I didn't sign up for this village mess. Henry, sitting outside, looked at her calmly. We have no choice, Clara. We're lucky to have this roof over our heads. Clara hissed and stormed back into the house. What Henry didn't know was that Clara had started sneaking out every afternoon. She would wear her best dress, put on perfume she had hidden, and walk to the only hotel in the village, Sunny Hills Lodge. Inside the lodge, Chief Bradley sat like a king. He had already paid the hotel worker, a young girl named Lily, $50 a week to keep his secret meetings with Clara hidden from his 4 wives. Lily, he would whisper, handing her the money. If my wives ask, you didn't see me, okay? Lily would smile nervously and nod. Yes, Chief, I won't say a word. One sunny afternoon, Clara walked into the hotel, smiling, her hips swaying. Chief Bradley was waiting in a private room, wearing a simple shirt and shorts, his gold chain shining on his chest as he ate grilled chicken. My queen, he called out with a grin. You look even prettier today. Clara laughed sweetly and sat beside him on the bed. You always know how to make a lady feel special. Chief Bradley fed her a piece of chicken. That's because you deserve it. Let me tell you something today. Clara. I'm listening, she said, chewing gently. I'm going to send all my 4 wives away. Clara's mouth dropped open. All of them? Yes, I don't want them anymore. You're the only woman who makes me happy. I want to marry you and build you a big house here in the village. Clara blinked fast. You're serious? Chief Bradley nodded. Very serious, in fact. The king of this village is very old. He's sick and coughs all the time. Soon he'll pass away. And guess what? What? Clara asked, her eyes wide. I'll become king. The elders already told me. I've given them gifts. Big goats. And bags of rice. They're on my side. Clara gasped. So I'll be the queen? Chief Bradley smiled. Of course, Queen Clara. They both laughed loudly. He whispered closer to her ear. Do you know how much gold I have? I own mines, land, shops, and I have oil deals. I'm not just rich, I'm powerful. Clara stared at him like a little girl seeing candy. Chief, you're amazing. Chief Bradley touched her cheek. Leave your husband, that poor man is done. Come live your best life. I'll rent a beautiful house for you here. Far from your old husband and those useless kids. Let me spoil you. Clara leaned closer and kissed his hand. Chief, you don't know how much I've suffered since we came to this village. I haven't even let Henry touch me. I don't sleep near him anymore. I'm already yours. Chief Bradley laughed happily. That's my lady. That's the spirit. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small stack of money. Take this, $100, buy new dresses. Next week, we'll start building your new house. I've already called someone to plan it. Clara's heart jumped. She held the money like a treasure. You're an angel, Chief. May your enemies never find you. They stayed in the room until evening. Lily showed Clara a back door to leave so no one would see her. As she walked home, Clara smiled from ear to ear. She couldn't wait to tell Mia. Back at the house, Henry sat outside with Ethan, fixing a broken chair. Ethan looked up and asked, "Where's Mom again?" Henry sighed. She went to get firewood, or maybe she's with the women's group. Ethan didn't believe it. She doesn't even know how to carry firewood. When Clara finally returned, she dropped a bag filled with chicken, cooking oil, and canned fish. Where did you get all this? Henry asked, shocked. A lady at the village market gave it to me. Her husband is a trader. Clara lied easily. That night, Clara only served herself and Mia the special food. Henry and Ethan had to eat plain bread again. Inside their room, Clara whispered to Mia everything the chief had said. Mia's eyes grew wide. Are you serious? She whispered. Clara nodded. Yes, he's even richer than your father ever was. Mia giggled. Mom, if I find my own rich man here, I'll never go back to that boring city. They both laughed like they were up to no good. A few weeks later, Henry noticed Clara and Mia behaving more suspiciously than ever. Clara returned home with new dresses and jewelry, claiming they were gifts from village friends. Mia disappeared for hours, coming back with bags of snacks and makeup, saying she found a job. Ethan grew wary and shared his concerns with Henry. Dad, something's off. Mom and Mia are hiding something, Ethan said one evening. Henry nodded slowly. I've noticed. Son, I've been watching them too. He decided it was time to end the test and reveal the truth. The next morning, Henry called James. James, it's time, bring the car, the papers, and the DNA results. James arrived in Pinewood Village by noon in a sleek black SUV, carrying a briefcase and a sealed envelope. Henry gathered Clara, Mia, and Ethan in the small yard of the mud house. Clara rolled her eyes. What now, Henry? Another boring meeting? Mia crossed her arms, looking irritated. Yeah, what's this about, Dad? Henry took a deep breath and smiled. I have something to tell you all. I never lost my money. Clara's jaw dropped. What are you talking about? I'm still a billionaire, Henry said calmly. I pretended to be poor to see who truly cared about me. He opened the briefcase James handed him, revealing stacks of cash and documents. I moved my money to a secret account and closed the businesses temporarily. This was all a test. Ethan's eyes widened, but he smiled. I knew you had a plan, Dad. Clara's face turned red with anger. You tricked us? How dare you? Mia stomped her foot. That's not fair. Dad, do you know how much I suffered? Henry shook his head. I wanted to see your true hearts, and I did. He turned to Ethan. You, Ethan, stayed by my side, worked with me, and never complained. You showed me what real love looks like. I'm so proud of you. Ethan hugged his father tightly. I love you, Dad, no matter what. Henry then looked at Clara and Mia, his expression turning serious. But you too, you failed. Clara laughed nervously. What do you mean, failed? I'm your wife. Henry pulled out a small recorder from his pocket and pressed play. Clara's voice echoed, her secret conversations with Chief Bradley, planning to leave Henry and marry the chief. You said you hadn't let me touch you, that you belonged to him, Henry said, his voice steady. Clara's eyes widened in panic. Where did you get that? I had James follow you, Henry replied. I know everything, your betrayal, your lies. He turned to Mia. And you, Mia, I know about your secret meetings with Mr. Carter. Mia gasped. How did you? James saw you at the cafe, Henry said. You sold your loyalty for snacks and money. Henry then held up the sealed envelope. But there's more, Mia. You're not my daughter. Mia froze, her face pale. What? Henry opened the envelope and showed the DNA results. I had a test done years ago, I never told anyone. Clara, you lied to me. Mia is not my child. Clara stammered. Henry, that's not true, It's right here in black and white. Henry interrupted, holding up the paper. You cheated on me even back then. Mia burst into tears. Mom, is this true? Clara looked away, unable to answer. Henry handed Clara and Mia each an envelope. These are divorce papers for you, Clara, and a legal notice for you, Mia. I'm cutting you both off, no more access to my money, my houses, or my name. Clara screamed, you can't do this to me. I'm your wife. You stopped being my wife the moment you chose Chief Bradley, Henry said coldly. And Mia, since you're not my daughter, you have no claim to anything I own. Mia sobbed. Please, I'm sorry, I didn't know. But Henry shook his head. You made your choices, both of you. Just then, Chief Bradley arrived at the yard, expecting to meet Clara. He froze when he saw Henry with the briefcase of money. What's going on here? Chief Bradley demanded. Henry turned to him. Your queen is leaving my life, and you're about to lose everything too. Henry handed James a folder. James, send this to the village elders and the police. The folder contained proof of Chief Bradley's illegal gold deals and bribes to the elders. Chief Bradley's face turned pale. You can't do this, I'm the next king. Not anymore, Henry said. You'll be in jail by tonight. The police arrived shortly after, arresting Chief Bradley as he shouted in protest. Clara and Mia stood in shock, tears streaming down their faces. Henry looked at them one last time. Pack your things, you're leaving today. Where are we supposed to go? Clara sobbed. That's not my problem, Henry replied. You wanted a new life, go find it. Clara and Mia left the village that day, with nothing but the clothes they had. Chief Bradley's crimes were exposed, and he lost his title, his wealth, and his freedom. Mr. Carter, hearing about the scandal, fled the village, leaving Mia with nothing. Henry and Ethan returned to the city, moving back into their mansion. Henry reopened his businesses and gave Ethan a big role in the company. They spent their days rebuilding their bond, laughing and working together. Henry smiled at Ethan one evening as they sat on the balcony. You taught me what family really means, Henry said. I don't need money to be happy, just you." Ethan hugged his father. "I'll always be here, Dad." And for the first time in years, Henry felt truly at peace, knowing he had the one person who loved him for who he was.